What will the path of VGK be this season? Is it going to be a rebuild? Is it going to be one of transition? Our discussion coming your way next, right here on Locked On Golden Knights.
You're Locked On Golden Knights, your daily podcast on the Vegas Golden Knights, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
Well, hi again, everyone. Tony Cardasco, Chris Golick from Las Vegas. Thanks for making us your first listen each and every day. Find us wherever you get your podcast. Please make sure that you subscribe to our Locked On Golden Knights YouTube channel. We are brought to you today by Gametime. Download the Gametime app today. Use the promo code LOCKEDONNHL, and you will get $20 off of your first purchase. Chris, what lies ahead for VGK? Will this be a rebuilding season? Will this be a year of transition after the trades and free agency? I feel that we could see a season of transition basically for VGK. Hear me out right now. So if you are VGK, I know, right? I just have to try to stop the presses. That's all I do. Just try to stop the presses. Add one or two more pieces if you're the Golden Knights. Stay in the hunt. Stay in the hunt in the Pacific Division, in the Western Conference. Stay above water at least until the trade deadline, and then make some serious moves. What are your thoughts?
If they're going to compete, that's basically what I've been saying for about the last 2 weeks now. It's January. If the team is in playoff position in January, that's when McCrimmon is going to start looking at what opportunities are going to be out there. It sounds like a joke by now, but it's really not. You never know what's going to happen on the injury front. Mark Stone, 2 seasons in a row now, they've had the benefits of the LTIR situation. That could happen again, and it could be someone different besides Mark Stone. And again, anyone is welcome to take any perspective they want from that. But the reality is that has happened for really 3 of the last 3 seasons now for the Vegas Golden Knights.
Yeah, and if you have Shea Theodore still in the lineup at that juncture near the trade deadline, or as you're saying, if they're going to plan a little bit sometime in January, you'll have also a large enough sample size from Aiden Hill and the backups and what the future might hold between the pipes. And I think that they need to be into some sort of survival mode and then get to the trade deadline. That is, I think, most important if they're going to be just basic like they are right now, and then add 1 or 2 other, let's say, complementary players.
Yeah, so basically the Golden Knights, it's not a rebuild. This is still a very good hockey team. Let's make sure we're clear about that. Could be better, but it's definitely a very good hockey team right now with the right core somewhat in place. But this is kind of like putting a big bucket of stuff inside of, the bucket of unknowns is what we're going to call it. We're going to call this the bucket of unknowns. Okay. The unknowns right now are Dorofeev, Brisson, Olofsson, and Holtz. And then we can even add Hurdle and even Hanifin to that equation, just because we haven't seen a full year of them. Now, obviously, we know Hurdle and Hanifin are here for a very, very long time, but they're still part of the unknowns. So the Golden Knights are going to splash this big bucket of unknowns, if you will, onto the wall, and they're going to see what sticks. All right. Looking ahead, if the Golden Knights can find a path to competing for a Stanley Cup this year, that's amazing if that happens. And I wouldn't put it past McCrimmon to find a way. It's happened for 6 of the first 7 seasons in this town. Looking ahead, though, is really where I think the Golden Knights are planning for the 25-26 and 26-27 seasons. That is really where I think McCrimmon, McPhee, and Foley is probably signed off on that being the plan right now. A lot of money in free agency is going to be available for the Golden Knights coming up. Howden, Kolesar, Olofsson, Brisson, Holtz, Ronbjerg, Nick Hague, Theodore, McNabb are all potentially off the books. And if the next free agency frenzy goes as well as the last one did, the Golden Knights are going to have a lot of money to spend. Now, looking way, way, way ahead, is McCrimmon going to be willing to overspend to get the right pieces in place? Because that's what's going to take. the salary cap is going up another $4 million ish, maybe more, maybe less, could be more, depending on the business of the National Hockey League. So it's going to be very interesting to see how this season shakes out, what the current VGK free agents are going to want to do, and what McCrimmon is willing to do.
And you know that I make some bold statements here. So if VGK had this season schedule a season ago, they might not have made the playoffs.
You can't let the schedule go.
I'm definitely, it was so rigged this past season. They had to make the playoffs.
Who cares?
It was very
schedule. You play 82 games, you play your division 3 or 4 times, you play everybody else 2 times.
You play the Kings, and the last time you play the Kings is December. That was really stupid.
I think the Golden Knights would have been fine playing the Kings, more honestly, but that's another story for another time. It's all that matters to a degree, sure, but again, it's which of those 4 players, really the 4 players, just going back to our bucket, if you will, Brisson, Dorofeev, Holtz, and Allison. Which of those 4 players are going to seize the moment, seize the opportunity? And this is where all the questions come in. Is Brisson ready to be an everyday NHLer and possibly have power play time and to really be in the top 6? That's where Brisson needs to be the most effective. Pavel Dorofeev, I've been high on that guy for 4 years, and we're just starting to see what he can do. If Dorofeev can have consistent time with a consistent line somewhere in the top 9, can Dorofeev become a 50-point scorer in the National Hockey League with a higher ceiling? And then we have no idea what to expect from Holtz, besides the fact that 16 goals in 82 games with the Devils last year, but 3rd and 4th line minutes. Can Holtz become a 25 to 28 goal scorer? And then obviously that leaves Allison, who has had some chemistry with Jack Eichel in the past. So this can go really, really, really well. And Jonathan Marchessault, I'm not going to say forgotten because that's disrespectful, but Jonathan Marchessault's output can become forgotten, and maybe each of those 4 players contributes, or it's going to be an absolute train wreck that no one can look away from.
I'll give McCrimmon this. They've always had within this organization some magic and some luck when they do pick up an acquisition.
McCrimmon's good at his job. We've been tough on him, but McCrimmon's good at his job, and that perspective will never change.
Well, this is the ultimate challenge. This will be the ultimate challenge for Kelly McCrimmon.
100% with you.
Yeah, yes. Because now it's like they don't have a lot of their players, and then dumping salaries for VGK. I think only time will tell if they were right. And we will also see, because when this typically happens, when there's what some might call a fire sale, if this typically happens, we see players.
They just gave away the farm. They gave it away.
Yeah. Well, you'll see some players, okay, they had to get rid of that person. Good timing. And that person does just less than they did when they were with the Golden Knights. Then we'll have some players that will exceed the expectations with their new teams. And that's going to be interesting to see.
Yeah, I mean, it goes back to the bucket. We're going to reference that bucket a lot, I think, through the season. And, if I can make a not way too early prediction, I think Brisson struggles in his roles in everyday NHLer. I think he's getting close, but I think he needs 70 games at the NHL level consistently to really learn the game.
But it's now or never for Briseau. It is
definitely now or ever.
This is the time.
I don't know if that's fair.
You're not going to keep him languishing in Henderson for another year or 2.
No. I think he needs the time in the NHL to learn the NHL game now, and to really, maybe the first 50 games he struggles and the light goes on for the last 30, assuming he plays 82 games. Dorofeev, I think, can definitely check the boxes, as long as he's had some health issues, some not his fault, but he's had some health issues. So he needs to first find a path to 82 games. So he'll have a path to 82 games as long as he's playing the game the right way on the ice. And Coach Cassidy agrees with that perspective. Olofsson, I'm not too excited about. I don't know. It all can't work. It all can't
There's
work.
upside there. There's definitely some upside.
There is, but there's 4 players we're talking. There's 4 players we're talking about. All 4 aren't going to check the boxes. Holtz is probably the one more excited when it comes to comparing Holtz and Olofsson. I just think something happened in New Jersey where Holtz couldn't get the respect or responsibility from the coach over there, and we'll see We'll see. See, this is another thing. I mean, we can go forever about this. And how's Cassidy going to handle all this? That's probably the biggest X factor in all of this is how is Cassidy going to handle now this has been coming out yesterday, the 10th youngest roster in the National Hockey League. This is different for Coach Cassidy.
And he doesn't like young players.
There's been documented challenges. I don't know if he doesn't like them, but there's definitely been documented challenges with youth going
in
back
Boston.
to his days with Boston.
Yeah, in Boston and here.
And how many young players have in the last 2 seasons now taken a major step forward with the Golden Knights?
We've heard from Cassidy himself. You have to pay your dues if you're a younger player. That's it. I mean,
100%.
that's basically it. And again, the softball game will be a barometer to see if Briseau has definitely, beefed up and gotten stronger. If he can hit the ball past the pitcher, then we will know that he's ready for the NHL.
Are we really using the softball game as a barometer of
it's a barometer for everything?
25 success?
Absolutely. Coming up next, VGK, one of the least improved teams in the NHL according to The Athletic. We will tell you where they rate it. Oh, wait, it's on the screen. 31st most improved team. Did
I screw up in the podcasting for dummies thing? Did I leak the?
It's okay. No, it's all good. All right. We'll be back with more right after this on this edition of Locked On Golden Knights. Passion, drive, and patience. What brings home the winning trophy is also what keeps your ride or die alive. eBay Motors has everything that you need to maintain your vehicle and to level it up to peak performance. From superchargers to roof racks, you've got exhaust kits, LED headlights, and much, much more. Whether you are into speed, power, or style, eBay has got you covered. With over 122 million parts for your number one ride or die, you will always find exactly what you are looking for. And with eBay Guaranteed Fit, your part is guaranteed to fit your ride every time, or you get your money back, because with eBay Motors, you are burning rubber and not cash. With all the parts you need at the prices you want, it is easy to turn your car into the MVP and to bring home that win. Keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply. eBay Guaranteed Fit is only available for U.S. customers. We are back on this edition of Locked On Golden Knights. Tony Cardasco and Chris Golick from Las Vegas on. Did they still do free Slurpees at 7-Eleven? 7-Eleven day.
I went to I was craving like a slushy thing, and just went to the gas station by my house, and it was like a combination of apples and strawberries and bananas, and I think there was peach in it. It was good.
Okay, really but good. You didn't answer the question. Of course, you're a politician, Golick. So at 7-Eleven, do they give out free?
I don't know. I spend a lot of time at 7-Eleven. I love my gas station 7-Eleven coffee. I don't remember seeing a
you do.
Free
That's
sign.
So industrial strength.
I love 7-Eleven coffee.
It's hard.
I like 7-Eleven. I like the fact that it's a third or less of the cost of a Starbucks, and you can get a bigger size.
Yeah, I'm stuck on Starbucks, unfortunately.
Explains why you're broke all the time.
Exactly. And why in the world I had too much caffeine yesterday, because at 1:30 this morning, I was reading psychology journals, just trying to figure out who this Golick guy really is. Hey, folks, don't forget, tomorrow is WTF, Saturdays, and then now this week it'll be Sunday.
I might have given you a WTF under my breath. That wasn't as under my breath as I thought it was going to be.
You almost swore in that first segment, too. Don't forget, on Sunday, we'll have the Chris and Chris Jr. exclusive show, and that'll be on the YouTube channel where you should subscribe today. So, the Athletics, Dom Luszczyszyn, he ranked all the NHL teams that improved, or in VGK's case, declined after its fire sale. VGK was near the bottom.
Wasn't the same.
As well, they just call it that. That's terminology. And they rank them as the 31st improved or least improved team. He gave the team a -42 net rating. And he said that it's time for the Golden Knights to pay the piper after all the cap shenanigans. And he said that day came for VGK. This again, the day is here, and this is where finally I think it catches up to the Golden Knights. and it's hurting the club as they try, well, at least on the surface, to become cap compliant. And only Winnipeg ranked lower than the VGK, and that was minus 36. So next to last for the Vegas Golden Knights.
So just kind of responding to some of the things that the writers said, I guess, the cap shenanigans and all that, whatever. I mean, that's low hanging fruit for any writer, so that's fine. They can have have that shots.
I've got the quote. I've got the quote that just backs up all of my shenanigans too. Okay, are you ready for it?
Sure.
Okay, Leschizin quoted. Now, National Reporter says this stuff, and people pay
Jake
attention.
Leschizin, are we talking about?
I don't know. What,
or the writer of the article.
Leschizin.
Oh, that's a Jake Leschizin. Okay.
I don't know how to pronounce his name, this guy. Okay,
well, that's
National
Golden
Reporter,
Knight, Jake Leschizin. That's why I was confused.
I know. A National Reporter says what I've been saying all along, and then people take notice. And no one rips him, but they rip me on the daily. Okay, so losing Jonathan Marchessault without as much of as a backup plan, losing Marchessault without as much as a backup plan feels like a fumble given the perfectly reasonable deal that Marchessault signed with Nashville. Once again, I'm going to repeat this for the people in the back, for crying out loud. That VGK did not have a backup plan. Why people rip me, and then a National Reporter comes out with his rankings and says the same exact thing that I've been saying here since they let Marchessault and the other free agents go.
It's fair. Well, I think you just literally dropped the mic. Okay. No, listen, it's not wrong. The Golden Knights did not have.
There was no backup plan.
No, they did not have a path to acquiring a potential 30-ish goal scorer. I mean, you're throwing the bucket against the wall with some players like we talked about in the first segments, but there definitely was not another player either internally or externally that the Golden Knights really, I mean, we don't know what type of shots they actually fired. I'm sure an offer was on the table to Stamkos, whether it was a formal offer through McCrimmon or if it was the third-party offer that happens in the day leading up, because technically they can't talk and it's, all the shenanigans there. But I'm assuming there was an attempt at Stamkos, given all of the reports and everything that came out. Are the Golden Knights paying for all of their cap shenanigans and crazy trades and everything? Maybe a little bit, but remember, Tomas Hertl, and again, Hertl does have a history of being a good hockey player, a very good hockey player in the National Hockey League. We'll see where his health is at for not just this season, but for the next 3 seasons after. So for the next 4 or 5 seasons, we'll see what Tomas Hertl has. And that Hannafin acquisition was pretty solid as well. And we're still talking about a team that has Eichel, Stone, Carlson, Tony, Barbashev, and then the defensive core is still super solid. And that's where, if a trade's going to happen, they're going to trade from a position of strength to possibly still address the issue of getting a 30-ish goal scorer somewhere in the top 6 right now. So yes, first of all, 31st most improved team by all means. Yeah, sure. It was not the offseason that Kelly McCrimmon was expecting. Maybe you do give McCrimmon a little bit of credit for not overspending on some of these guys, though, too. I mean, maybe you need to get, would the Golden Knights have been better off if they had signed Stamkos, traded Theodore for a bag of used pucks? Because that's what it would have been.
And future consideration.
It would have had a return, but would this team have been better in that circumstance? I don't know. With Stamkos penciling at $7 to $8 million per season AAV, would the Golden Knights have been better off? And I don't know the answer. Maybe this year, maybe next year. Who knows? Would they have been better off with Marchessault at $5 million and making a smaller trade? Yeah, but that's another story for the last 2 podcasts that we've done.
I'm going to say it again. Hear me out.
No backup plan.
No backup plan. Would keeping Marchessault, would that have been good for the health of this team or for this team in the future? Or would this just have been a move to appease the fans? I think that's something that needs to be discussed.
I think it would have been good for both, Tony. I mean, listen, appeasing the fans is the one thing that McCrimmon could give what's in that bucket about. So let's be clear. McCrimmon's going to put this team together. He's going to sit in front of the media and flap his jaw a little bit about what he did. And 2/3 of it's going to be a bunch of crap and a bunch of lies, but that's what all GMs do. But your question was, if March so would have been, or would it appease the fan
Right.
and help the health of the organization? Correct.
Yeah.
Both are a major yes right now. Fans happy, fans spending money, fans buying
Okay.
March so jerseys.
Which one more? Which one more?
The health of the team.
Okay. Better again.
Health of the team would have been much better with March so.
At that price, that just is still annoying.
It's a no-brainer, but hear me out here. So the question's about the health of the team. It's not just about the locker room. It's not just about the skill on the ice, but it also does go back to the future free agents that are going to come and stuff. Talking to my buddy Chris Condos, who I probably reference the most on this show, he mentioned that Vegas isn't the only state now that does have the benefits of the tax savings. There's other teams that have that. So
Tennessee.
Yeah, but that's my point. So there's
All right.
other places, there's options now. And that just, now they're going to look at, okay, how is Barry Trotz treating their players, especially when they get to the
structure,
end?
the travel for those guys in the East, I think, has been a big factor this go-round.
Okay, fine, but there's all these things. You look at what has happened historically with the Golden Knights, and some of these trades needed to happen with Fleury and H. Schmidt and Riley Smith. We get all of that, but the Jonathan Marchessault situation is a little bit different. And there's two sides to this. There's the sides these guys are telling the media, then there's the sides these guys are texting random journalists and podcasters about, and kind of giving the real insider about how they've been treated during their time.
We need to do a mailbag. And I'm just kidding.
Mailbag. But
yeah, I don't know.
Last thing I'll say, and then we can turn it over wherever you want to go with it. Vegas doesn't have as good as a reputation as far as free agents. The character has come into question a little bit, whether you look at the cap shenanigans or what's happened with the free agents. Again, acknowledge reality, Golden Knight fans. People are going to watch this and they're going to blast it, and that's fine, but look at the big picture. And a lot of the things that fans have been saying outside of Vegas about Vegas for seasons 1 through 5, where we just kind of turned our nose and laughed at them, now that is starting to become a reality around the National Hockey League. That could matter with future free agents coming to Vegas.
And as Lushizin pointed out, this is a team that is awfully thin at forward. Yes, you talked about defensively. Okay, they still have a core there, and they should be able to integrate players into that lineup there, and who knows what happens. And I don't know if they're going to keep. The biggest question is, do they keep Theodore, or is that going to be one of their moves that they make at the trade deadline? It's just a matter of when, I believe now. And like sooner or later, this age thing catches up with the Golden Knights as well. I mean, I think we're going to see a campaign. So what do they have this year? Like the Golden Era? I think they're going to have the Golden Pond Era. Isn't that like this movie about like aging and stuff?
Listen, it's going to be interesting. It's always fun to watch the business of situations like this, and we've seen it. And the Golden Knights were very quick to add one Aiden Hill to the softball game because, well, why not? Why not? Aiden Hill needs to come back to Vegas and hang. He's been away from Vegas for a little bit, so let's get him back in Vegas for the softball game. And yeah, the quote of the day. My buddy Ray. Ray watches every day with his newborn. I'm gonna use your quote, Ray. There's probably going to be a video for Logan Thompson at some point, right? Like a send-off.
Okay.
Over under Aiden Hill proposes while the video is on.
Oh, I like that. I like that prop bet. That's a good prop bet.
That's pretty good, Tony. And I don't know anything about Aiden Hill's personal situation, if he's even got a girl or if they are.
No.
Know the situation is,
they had the photo. Someone, like they usually do, they go and they make sure that they invade the privacy of the players, and then they just take photos off of their Instagram feed, and then they put them out there. Owen Power, by the way, Owen Power in my feed, he got engaged. So shout out to Owen Power. Big move.
So you follow Owen Power's girlfriend on Twitter, on Instagram. Got it.
Come on. They just pop up, dude.
They just pop up.
100%. The analytics, they follow me. Coming up next.
Are we the 31st most improved podcast for Locked On?
Least improved. Did VGK lose its stat site along with the shutdown of CapFriendly? We'll talk about that when we return right here on Locked On Golden Knights. There's killer last-minute deals, all-in pricing, and you've got views from your seat and their lowest price guaranteed. Yes, folks, we are talking about Gametime, which takes the guesswork out of buying tickets for every single event. They have last-minute tickets. They've got flash deals, zone deals, easy to find, and also easy to find Major League Baseball tickets. Of course, the All-Star break coming up next week. You could probably get your All-Star tickets on Gametime as well. I want to see about getting tickets for Missy Elliott this upcoming Saturday night there at T-Mobile Arena. Of course, with the flash deals, you save even more with exclusive in-app deals and select seats ahead of the game or an event. I personally like the all-in pricing. That is something that I just look at. I don't look at all the pricing before you get all the fees and what have you. I want to know the bottom line, exactly how much it's going to cost me. So take the guesswork out of buying tickets, especially MLB tickets, with Gametime today. Download the Gametime app, create an account, use the promo code LOCKEDONNHL, and you will get $20 off your first purchase. Terms do apply. Again, create an account, use the promo code LOCKEDONNHL, and you will get $20 off your first purchase. Download Gametime today. Last minute tickets, lowest price guaranteed. Back on this edition of Locked On Golden Knights, Tony Cardasco and Chris Golick. We come to you from Las Vegas. I think we're going to have a doozy of WTFs tomorrow from all the folks out there. And please do not request us to do mailbags. We don't do that. I think you said, did you tweet out that you had a couple of minutes to answer any fan question?
Nope.
No, that wasn't you. Okay. That was someone else. No, we don't do that either. But we do definitely execute our WTFs on Friday and coming up on Sunday.
With precision, we do our WTFs.
Oh, I thought you were going back to Jake Lecision.
Precision, Lucision. What was that guy? Never mind. Okay,
Lucian, I think.
Way too many words that rhyme with Lecision.
If you have
today.
too many Z's in your last name, I don't know how to pronounce that and what have you. Okay, I just spell stuff out phonetically anyway. And then on Sunday, Chris and Chris Jr. with a recap. Oh, that's how we'll build this. A recap of the big softball game and whether Brisson will hit the ball back past the pitcher to show that he's improved strength-wise. And then we will also talk about Logan Thompson's minutes and innings played. We'll get into that, I'm sure, on that show. CapFriendly, Chris. CapFriendly shut down this week. And remember that I think VGK even boasted that they had their own site for stats. I think so. And so what happened now, after the Washington Capitals purchased CapFriendly, it made sense. You got to definitely buy that site. According to BR Open Ice, VGK's site was also bought and shut down. It was called General Fanager. So that was their site. We got like a little peek behind the curtain. There's nothing, there's scraps on there right now because it's bought out. And, you know, all that they have are photos of players and their wags and Kelly McCrimmon eating pizza and stuff like that. No, it's not on there. There was also some other sites, right? All shut down and purchased. Toronto's Extra Skater. It says Seattle Mariners, Corsica Hockey, but that's got to be the Kraken site, right? That closed too. Minnesota Wild had one, War on Ice. Calgary had Hockey Analytics or Analysis or something like that. Yeah, so they shut down these sites. And so now I guess you're going to have to get some IT brains together and kind of figure out how to keep track. Was this the site that the Golden Knights went to look up salaries and contracts and some other information?
So a few things, I guess. Number one, I'm just shocked that the NHL doesn't have something on the back end that all the teams use, and it's the same place that they go to. I'm surprised that each of these individual teams have to build their own tool. I'm even more shocked that these individual teams rely on, now a fan site is not the way to describe what CapFriendly was, but it was just something created for everybody to enjoy, and props to creators and developers and owners of that site who probably got a massive payday from the Capitals. So good on them for their work. And, you know, now I've been trying to acclimate myself to Puckpedia a little bit. And It's okay. It's not as easy on the eyes as CapFriendly was, but it's getting there. It's getting there for me. I'll be comfortable with it in a little while. But yes, Tony, I'm shocked that someone out of like this seems like an intern out of UNLV looking for a first job type of thing. The fourth, fifth person down the chart as far as the assistant to the assistant to the assistant to the assistant of the general manager. Like I'm just surprised that this isn't like I'm surprised that this is even a story. I'm surprised that the owners of CapFriendly got an amazing payoff for this website. And it's tough to understand with all the money and revenue that is around the National Hockey League and the individual teams on how something like this is even possible to happen. It's weird.
Yeah. This was something that said your source for NHL player contract information, team salary cap summaries. It was a valuable tool. It was a valuable tool for every team and for fans. It was definitely not only cap friendly, it was fan friendly. It was good and media friendly as well, because that was our source. I would go there daily too, right?
Yeah, no, I can't tell you how many articles I've written or referenced that while we're on the show, or you rattle something and really quick I'm going to CapFriendly to look at something. And Puckpedia, like I said, it'll grow on us. And I'm just wonder what the next, like there has to be like 100 or more people right now trying to develop something as good as or better than CapFriendly, looking for that payoff down the road, whether it's 2 or 3 years or 5 or 6 years. And like Puckpedia is good, but it's not CapFriendly good. So curious to see how that arms race goes. There you go, Tony.
I think it's time for Golic Unfriendly for your own site to emerge. I think you definitely should start one. We appreciate everyone tuning in, especially our everydayers. Thank you so much. Of course, don't forget tomorrow. Look at that face. Don't forget tomorrow.
I had a few things loaded there, and I just let it go.
And you just, all you want to talk about today is buckets for some reason. We appreciate everyone tuning in. Thank you so much. WTF tomorrow. Sunday this week will be the Chris and Chris Jr. show, as they'll be out there at the Battle for Vegas, the softball game. A complete preview coming up tomorrow. We'll have starting pitchers, ERAs.
God, definitely, 100%.
Yeah, we'll have all that. Of course, we appreciate you
lefty
tuning
versus
in.
righty versus lefty, switch hitters, 100%.
Yeah. Thanks so much. Of course, from my man, Chris Golic, I'm Tony Cardasco from Las Vegas. We'll see you again tomorrow right here on Locked On Golden Knights. Please take care.